Hey guys, how we doing? I know previously I said I was going to do a video on gut bacteria and a little bit of educational stuff, but there's something else that's sort of been coming up over the last few weeks that I want to address a little bit, and that's a thing that's becoming more and more common. It's a little bit subtle. It's been around for a very long time, and that's what they're sort of labelling what they call fat shaming. So I've seen it a bit of recently, locally as well, which is really concerning, but obviously it's happening everywhere. I read a lot of posts from mentors that I have in Melbourne and in other states, so it's obviously something that's starting to rebuild. I think it comes from the social media side of things, where you have a lot of Instagram and Facebook people getting on there going, you know, you look hot and sexy if you do the 30-day ab challenge, which is out. You can have flat abs if you do 600 sit-ups a day. That's so old school. Stop it. Fix your food. That's a gut health thing. But the fat shaming is things like, you know, if you work out in the gym and, you know, make other people jealous. You know, look at me, I'm hot, let's make someone jealous. Or another one which I found a little bit disturbing of late, and it disappointed me because I know the people that run the classes and what have you are actually really cool people and know what they're doing. So I would like to think it was just a slight slip of the tongue kind of comment. But, you know, working out down the street and then saying, did you see other people eating takeaway food wishing they were us? That's fat shaming. That's making other people feel bad and making yourself superior to them. You know, you're looking down on them for the choices that they're making. You're judging people based on the way they look and the way they behave, and making yourself better. You're painting. That's you know, it's not bullying or anything like that, but it's basically you're putting yourself up on a higher level than what they are, without actually really knowing what's going on with them. So it's one thing to pursue health and fitness to look good. That motivates people. That motivates a lot of people, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're doing it to make yourself, not to make yourself feel good, but to make others feel bad or feel less, that's a real different issue. You know what feels good for your body. You know when you feel fit and healthy, you feel good, you get your confidence. But when you do it at the expense of other people, it actually has a really shallow base and it won't last, because eventually you'll get taken down by someone else. And so you really have to work this. We talk about inner health, but that's also your mental health as well. You'll have to look after yourself and value yourself and what you're doing, and know that your journey is it's a personal one. The person sitting opposite you, their journey is a personal one. The person sitting eating takeaway food, their journey is a personal one. You know, I eat takeaway food. I don't eat it all the time. But if I've worked 12 hours and I've got to get somewhere in 20 minutes and I'm not going to eat again for another 3 or 4 hours, you've got to take what's available. So if people are going out there and fat shaming you for eating takeaway food, they actually haven't understood the context of what you're doing. You know, I can remember a psychology lecture years ago where the psychologist said, you know, our lecturer said that his niece was morbidly obese. She was a very, very big girl. And he was a sports psychologist. So for him to have that in his family, it was a bit of a motivator for why he pursued the career that he did. But by the same token, he actually would sit down and have some really in-depth conversations about why she was morbidly obese, what was going on inside her, to push her to that level, because she wasn't a big kid, but she became a big adult. And part of what she said was it was a shame thing, in the sense of she didn't feel valued. She had a hard time valuing herself as a person and her possible contribution to society and to her family and what have you. So there were some big emotional issues there. But the thing she said is, when people say to her, if she was eating McDonald's, or if she was eating a Mars bar, or if she was drinking Coke or something like that, you know, people would look down on her and frown on her, or they would actually think it was okay to go up to her and say, perfect strangers, you shouldn't be eating that, you're too fat already. She said that kind of a comment just makes me want to go and order one of everything on the entire menu, sit next to a restaurant and just stuff myself stupid, just to gross them out. She goes, because that makes no difference to me. It doesn't actually make me feel better or worse. But she said, how dare those people judge me? And they don't know what's going on with me. They don't know that little cheeseburger I'm having is actually the one moment where I don't hate myself, when I can eat that. So you don't understand what's going on in people's lives or what's motivating them. To judge, to shame, to do all of that from a superficial level or from a standing back and pointing the finger at someone else. I guess I grew up with the thing my mum used to say, if you're pointing your finger at someone else, you've got 3 pointing straight back at you. So better make sure you're squeaky clean. So if you're going to point the finger at someone else, if you're going to try and put someone else down, you really got to make sure that you're living the great life. And I don't think there's any of us out there that are completely infallible. So be aware of that stuff. It is creeping into social media, so it's happening on a very, very subtle level. You know, I've had to go back over some of the posts that I've put up on my page to make sure that I've actually haven't been a part of that, because that's something that, you know, I'm about fit and healthy and feeling good about yourself. If coming to the gym or if eating a certain way stresses you out to the max, stresses your relationships, creates a horrible person, you become someone you don't like, then that's actually not beneficial. That's more stressful for you. So, you know, I'm a big one for saying to people, ideally you want to come to the gym 2 or 3 times a week, but if that puts such a strain and a stress on your routine, your kids, your partner, all of that sort of stuff, then just stick to one, do stuff elsewhere. Work with what works for you until you're in a position where you could do a little bit more time. You know, don't try and change the world in 30 days and do these things that are creating damage or creating an attitude that won't be sustainable or that makes you a horrible person. It can change who you are. It can have a horrible impact on the people around you. So, yeah, be really aware of, you know, changing your body and getting fit and healthy is an inside journey. You have other people to help you and motivate you, but it really starts on the inside, and look what's motivating you. You may look at someone that's overweight and say, I don't want to be that overweight. You can say that in your head. Don't need to say it out in public. Don't need to put it on a post. Don't need to do any of that. That's a personal motivator for you. That's, you know, that person's too big. I don't want to look like that. That's okay. But then turn it into how does that person feel? How would I feel if I was that big? Or how would I feel if I was that skinny? Skinny people are not always healthy. So, you know, figure out how it relates to you. Have empathy for the people around you, but think about how it relates to you and what you can change. And then don't make people feel bad because they're not following your journey with you. It's your personal ride. And don't impose it on anyone else, I guess, is what I'm trying to sort of say. Or don't judge people. Don't think you're better than anyone because you've been able to make these steps. They're just not ready for it yet. They'll make those steps in their own time or not. But, yeah, so just be aware of what you see out on social media, on the Instagrams, on the Facebook and all of that, and your comments and your conversations. And maybe at some point, if you're having a chat with someone, it might be a way to go. You can be concerned about people. There's nothing wrong with saying to someone, hey, you know, are you okay? Are you, you know, you look a bit tired, you look a bit stressed, you know, you sort of, don't say you've let yourself go, but, you know, work your way around it, because that's a genuine concern for someone else's health and well-being. But don't go, Jesus, mate, you've let yourself go, what the hell? That's kind of well, unless you have that kind of relationship. Or don't say, oh, you used to be skinny, you used to be fun, you used to be this, now have a look at you. That's not okay. That's a shaming perspective. Or, you know, just be aware of what you're putting out there, particularly on the social media side of things. It can be taken several different ways other than the way you intended. And, yeah, just get out of that whole us and them kind of philosophy. It's great that you want to get fit and join the gym and do all those sorts of things, but don't make other people feel bad about it. Actually try empowering them and just say, you know, I feel really good afterwards. It's good for my mental health. You know, take it away from the body stuff, take it away from the weight stuff, and see how it actually makes you feel on the inside. And you've got a more chance of helping someone out doing it that way than actually saying, you know, you look hot in your jeans. That is a motivator, but it's a very superficial one, and it can really make people feel bad. So, yeah, that's my Saturday message. It's not a very sexy one once again. I know I don't really do sexy very well, do I? All right, and I've crapped on again for 10 minutes. Wowee. All righty, I'll catch you guys next week. Bye.